I'm in the Bat Cave going through my archives, and I happened upon some of the highlights from my 2005 season at Nicholls. Anyway, my highlight tape was broken down into a passing highlight segment, a running highlight segment, and then it had a Southland Conference preview segment they ran on Fox Sports Southwest. And I remember a lot from that weekend that we actually went up there when they taped the whole segment and did our interviews and all that kind of stuff, because it was Southland Conference preseason media days where we all met just outside of Houston, and each team brings, either their captain of their offense, defense, or one of the leaders on offense and defense. And I remember when Coach Thomas pulled Henry Johnson and myself aside and said that we were going to be representing the team that year. I was honored. I was blown away. I remember wanting to always be one of those guys. From a young age, looking up to the guys who actually went and represented the team at these media day type events, and like I said, very honored, very humbled, and very excited. Almost like you're that guy now. You have officially arrived as the face of the team, and that's what Coach T was telling us. You guys are the face of this team. We trust you. We trust you with what you're going to say. We trust that you're going to speak well about your teammates. We trust that you're going to give the answers that would best represent our team and our school. And we can have some fun up there too. Like, they have a big golf tournament where you get paired up with different players in the conference. And it's also a cool way you get to meet the other leaders on these other teams, guys that you've been playing with, some of them for, playing against almost for 4 years now. And, a lot of the times on offense, there's going to be a quarterback there. So I kind of get to size up all the QBs that are there. That's what everyone's doing. I get to, kind of talk to all the other coaches in the conference. And you kind of get to see who's who. And I'd be lying if I said after I left the event, I didn't have a little fuel. I didn't have a little gasoline that I added to the fire that I saved up for some certain teams. But anyway, so I remember driving out there by myself, arriving at the hotel. I think it was in Conroe, Texas, right outside of the Houston area. And it was kind of a hotel resort thing. I remember getting in there. Seeing Henry, I'm going to call him Hollywood. Everyone called him Hollywood on the team. Seeing Hollywood there, getting situated in our rooms and stuff like that, and then, finding Coach T, and then that first night having kind of a dinner, an introductory dinner of Southland Conference commissioners there. Sorry, my phone is blowing up here. I got to put this thing on silent. Okay, that's done. So the Southland Conference Commissioner, Tom Burnett, shout out Tom Burnett, always real good to myself and to the Colonels. Actually, I got to see him on the Nicholls reunion game. He actually came back and presented our trophy to us 10 years later. Really, really cool of him to come do that. Tom Burnett, shout out. Anyway, Tom Burnett's talking to all the different teams, and we're all there in this ballroom having dinner. No one really of each other. You don't know each other yet. That comes a little later. So, everyone's got on there. We got our Nicholls gear on. Everyone's got Northwestern, Sam, Texas State, all their gear on, stuff like that. So, kind of feeling each other out. But anyway, he's thanking us. He's giving us a rundown on what the weekend was going to be like. About the different dinners we were going to have, the golf tournament that we were going to have, how media day was going to go, how we can run through it efficiently, where we need to report to, who would be speaking to, smart things to say, what not to say to the media, all those kind of things. Anyway, had a good time. So I know Hollywood and I got a good night's sleep in. We wake up, and so it's media day. Yeah, it's media day. And for what media day is you're in a ballroom. You've got your table set up, and it says, such and such athletes such as Yale, Vannoy, Nicholls State, Henry Johnson, Nicholls State, and we've got members of the media who come by and speak with us. And we got the TV cameras on, the cameras are going, different recorders everywhere, microphones in your face, just like you see on ESPN for an SEC media day. I mean, obviously it's not an SEC media day, but it's set up similar to that. So, we've got every single sports writer from each school is there, along with the people from Fox Sports Southwest, ESPN, all that kind of stuff. And they're going around, and it's interesting to kind of get, I'm used to questions from the Nicholls media. I know all those guys. We have great relationships with all of them. I understand the type of, like I said, relationship that we have, what kind of questions I'm going to get. They know what kind of answers. And with my guys at Nicholls, there's a level of trust, so I can open up to those guys and don't have to be as guarded as much. And that's why my interviews with Nicholls sports writers have always been, or the people in the home of Thibodeau area, New Orleans area, have all been really open and honest, and I love my relationship with those guys. But it's interesting to see the take that you get from other schools about the questions they ask you. So you can kind of see how they think about you, and they talk to the coaches and the players. So, a little bit of what those coaches and players say about you comes into play with these questions. Nothing crazy, but it does kind of tip you off to what they think you're about, what they think your team's capable of, all those kind of things. But anyway, it's probably a 3-hour event, and at one point they take you in to one of the main film rooms where Fox Sports Southwest, who was doing the entire event, I think they had a contract with the Southland Conference at the time. Anyway, their head guy, not the reporter, but TV commentator, Gary Reasons. And I've talked about Gary on the show. His son Nick played with me in Nicholls. He was a DB from the Houston area. Gary was a big-time linebacker, played in the NFL for the Giants, won a Super Bowl, played with Lawrence Taylor. He's a big guy, really cool guy. Anyway, so one at a time, each athlete goes in there. They get you ready for camera. He goes over, a little bit of what he's going to kind of ask you, and then we start shooting, rocking and rolling. So I'm sitting down with Gary, and I remember beforehand I'd always had kind of a longer blonde hair, but the only time I'd shaved my head was when I came into Nicholls, because then when you came in, everybody had to get your head shaved, the seniors and the juniors, the upperclassmen. If you didn't shave it yourself, then right before picture day, you had to come down and get your head shaven. But then I also shaved my head right before my senior year, because I kind of said, I'm going into battle. This is war. We're not playing around, and this is what they're going to get from me. And I remember we were kind of talking about that, and he said, well, what's the deal with the hair? And I said, going into battle.